Hey guys, I know you've been waiting for these. Took a while to get my custom made intake valves. I originally had these cut for a specific Ferrea valve, and then Ferrea stopped production of that valve and I couldn't get it. So I had to have Ferrea custom build me that basically the exact same valve, which took forever to actually get an engineer on the phone and get it done. But it's done, it's in. We could finally test this. These are specific 289 heads for road racing. They're the C6FE head. They've been CNC ported by my buddy Bill at CarQuest in Connecticut, and he does a damn good job. Now, these are brand new iron castings. Have to be iron for this type of road racing. They have to be the original Shelby design, which I've done a set of these before, but they weren't CNC'd and they weren't nearly as nice as these. They were an earlier casting and the valve spacing wasn't right. So I wound up using smaller valves. You guys could look back and find those. You're going to make fun that I don't have a plug for this. Spark plug's like $5 nowadays, guys. You got $5? I ain't got $5. You get bonus points if you know what that came from. That quote. It is a little different, but we're going to deal with the thermal temperature sensor in the plug for now. I'm not really going to worry about it. Do we lose a few CFM from it? Doesn't really matter. We can compare these to the C6FEs that I did by hand a while ago and see how I do on these. Of course, these, I don't have to design them from scratch because my buddy Bill already did a really good job on these. Doesn't back up on the intake at all. And you only get a little backup on the exhaust at over 700 lift. Okay. Now we're doing this together. Brian is doing the whole engine really. I'm just doing the heads and the intake, which is nice because I don't have to worry about the short block being not perfect, which is nice to me. I know he's already done some work about the cam. He says if I'm going to do speed testing, do it at 0.6 lift. So that's about where we're going to run this. This is a little bit crippled. It has to use stamp rocker arms. But Brian and I had a conversation, and he knows exactly what to do to the rocker arms to make them last with the spring load it's going to need. It's going to be a solid flat tappet, and it's going to spin pretty good. I don't have the exact numbers, but the original wants from the customer were 400 horsepower, 7,500 RPM. Well, I'm pretty sure with the flows we got from these completely stock, we could do better than 400 horsepower, even on a dual plane. The dual plane's going to need serious work to keep up with this. Serious. It is a brand new Performer RPM, but it is not an air gap. It has to be the standard one without the air gap. And I've already done some work to it. I didn't bolt it up to the completely stock port because why? Let's see if we can get a few more CFM out of this, which is, as typical, you start with something good, it's going to be a lot harder to get gains out of it. Kind of like the TFS 270s, okay? They were really good stock, and there wasn't a ton of metal I could remove, so I did what I could. I wound up boosting it up more in the mid-range than anything else. So we'll see how we do on this. Let's just take a couple of views of it. You can see on the exhaust, they actually did a little bit of hand blending, right? You can see they finished the chamber. Looks like they use a slower bit speed on the intake side of the chamber than the exhaust side of the chamber. As far as our Dicom, looks pretty good. You know, the ridges in the port actually help the Dicom pattern, right? We've got some on the right side of the guide. We've got some on the right side of the the chamber. We got some right across the plug. We got some splatters. Let's take a look at the valve. Okay, really nice pattern across the valve. I specified how big a back cut I wanted and the angle of the back cut. These are basically going to go back in exactly the way I got them from Ferrea because they do a really nice job. And it's kind of interesting. It really only cost a few bucks more to get a custom valve made. Not really bad. Did not exceed my estimate for what valves were going to cost. So we're good that way. So I'm happy about that. Let's take a look at the bore. Okay, not bad. Nice powdering on the left, some splatters on the right. As far as the stem, they're 5/16, their specific length. I wound up picking the length after I talked to Brian because he has to fit a spring on here. So we figured out the length and wound up finding some Ferreas that would work. The exhausts are a standard Ferrea. I didn't have to get anything special for the exhaust. You can see a little bit of splatter across the exhaust valve. So both of these valves are right out of the packages. I may wind up putting a little bit of a radius on the exhaust corner like I usually like to, just to even reduce heat buildup. There's just the tiniest sharp edge there that I'd like to remove. And I think that's probably going to be it for the valve modifications on this. Let's take a look down its throat, see what we got. Okay. Now, if you know small block Fords, that's got a really nice shape. Are there going to be some spots where the cutter hits? Of course. There's always a little bit of core shift. Am I worrying about it? No, I'm worried about casting thickness more than anything else. I have to go through this entire port, every single bit of it, and make sure it's thick enough before I even touch it with the burr, which is a lot of extra testing, but I know when I did the other set, to get the shape that I really wanted to get, was pushing my luck. Now these, since he's done a bunch of these, he knows exactly what he can do, and I'm willing to bet they're pretty close to the casting limits in a couple spots, because that's what you have to do to get the air through them. Okay, you can see how nice the roof looks. You can see what a great job he did on the short side. It does look like the short side was gone over with a burr, so they do a little cleanup before they send it out, which is nice. I mean, Bill knew I was going to go through these, but he still wants it to look pretty for me, I'm sure. He's a super good guy. Okay, really good looking exhaust bowl. Really nice. It's going to be tough to improve on. Now this is the Shelby design, which means the outlet is bigger than I like. We're going to take a look at that now. Okay, C6FE. See how tall that runner is? That would have worked better if they just raised up the floor. And an interesting thing is we have a bulge right here, and I believe there's a water passage between the exhaust and that plug right there. I bet they had spark plug overheating issues, and they're like, you know what? We'll take up a little of that exhaust port to get a little more cooling on the plug and keep detonation away. Remember, 9 times out of 10, plug's going to be the hottest part of the chamber. That's actually something we could discuss. See if you guys agree with me on that. Okay, they did some nice cleanup on this. You can see not a lot of low-hanging fruit. Yeah, you've got a little bit of a casting line, but I'm not really worried about that. Looks really good. Okay, a little bit different view of the intake bowl stock. It's got a nice shape. I like how he did the guide boss. Right? Take a good look at the guide boss. Did a really nice job on that. Not a lot to improve on that. Okay, well, I guess I'm supposed to compare this to one of my GT40 race ports. I just went and took took a quick look in my file, and it was right there, so I just grabbed one. Is it one of the best flowing ones? I don't remember. It tops out at 260, which is pretty darn good. That only has a 1.9 intake valve. The new ones have a 1.94. I had to shrink the valves because the guide spacing was screwed up. So this actually has the flows through the Cobra intake and my 770 carb. I don't believe I had a spacer on that. I don't think he was able to run a spacer. It's a completely different project, but that was for an 8,500 RPM 289. It's definitely lacking a bit of air for that much, but he never called me back to complain about it, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Okay, I'm not gonna joke. I was sweating how many pluses and minuses we'd get out of this. It would look really bad if I had a fully done one and it didn't even come close to the CNC. But like I said, the CNC Bill did a great job. So how'd we do comparing? It's not exactly apples to apples because this is a fully done one, probably a little bit bigger port, right, than this one. Maybe not. This is pretty generous the way he has it milled out. In any case, this is what we got. Minus, plus, minus, minus, plus, minus, 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 minus. At 300, we're almost identical. 400, up a touch, up a touch, up a touch, up a touch. Really, only 10 CFM difference. Wow. Not great. Like I said, not a lot of low-hanging fruit on this. So, do I think I can beat this? Yes, I do think I can beat it. Is it going to be easy? No, I don't think it's going to be easy at all. It's not going to be easy to beat these numbers. Let's take a look at our airspeeds. Okay, guys, very telling already, right? We look at our airspeeds. This was my same cylinder head, but all done by hand. Take a look. We definitely have all lower numbers through the whole thing. My roof is a little more even. He's got way more flow on the center of the cylinder, which is not necessarily a bad thing. We can get more air around that way, remember? Because it's open in the chamber. Let's take a quick look, and my short side was definitely way faster. There's no question about it. That'll be interesting to see how much metal is left on there and see what I can do with it. In fact, I really like these speeds. I would just like to increase this speed a little bit. Other than that, I really like the short side speeds. Okay, interesting on the swirl. Mine is pretty much dead until she starts to lose it on the short side. This one's got a lot of swirl throughout the whole curve. Interesting to think about. Okay, guys, I found this GT40 race, which is the same head. This is the one where I had to use the smaller intake and the smaller exhaust. I think I had to use a 1.545 exhaust valve so I could get some clearance between the intake valve and the exhaust valve due to the guides being in the wrong spot. So this is with a smaller exhaust valve, and this is a final. So it's these numbers versus these numbers, okay? This is a 1.6, this is a 1.545. It basically dominates through the whole thing. There's no real comparison. We got 200.6 here. We got 210.1 there with a big pipe. 175, 183. Now we do have a little buffeting right here. See the B? So the manometer is bouncing right there. That could be fixed, and this will be, it's going to be done because we're over 210. Okay, so I don't think I have to do a lot to the exhaust, to be honest. I think that's going to, I'm going to radius in my throat like I like to do, and change the textures, and hopefully this is going to be there. Now I did check the throat sizes. The throat sizes on the CNC head are exactly where you would want them to be. So I don't have to mess with that at all. And you can tell because it does so well. Okay, I don't have any... I can't find any airspeeds for the 1.545 valve. So we're just going to take a quick look at them side to side. Okay, now this side is, just make sure we're on the right side. This is the center of the cylinder because this is on top of the little bulge. This is after the little bulge, okay, on the lower. Pretty much dead on the floor, kind of dead on the other side. Nice and even as far as left and right. Not bad for being even right to left. Okay, so that exhaust port works pretty darn good, just the way it is. We're going to see if we can just get rid of our buffeting, maybe smooth it out a little bit, add a little bit to the whole curve, and we're good. All right, guys, I'm going to start measuring everything on these and see what we got. Thanks for hanging out. Have a good night.